All right, ladies and gentlemen, back by popular demand, I am Madamo, at Madamo, for the Link newspaper, live streaming the second set of marches that have begun just now from Place Émilie Gamelin. This is a continuation of a day of protests and marches in opposition to austerity measures in Quebec and coinciding with student strikes. There was quite a few people present for the initial gathering at Square Victoria that began at 1 p.m. Estimates in the higher tens of thousands. That group marched around downtown and eventually met back at Place Émilie Gamelin, which we're here right now. And then a group splintered off and sort of marched independently for a good couple of hours, and that basically ended back again at Place Émilie Gamelin, where police sort of encircled the park and the protesters that were present, and there were some arrests, and the police did become a little bit more physical, but nothing major. So here we are, part two of the day. This is a nighttime march. I am at the back right now. We are being followed by some police vans, and there was an announcement made. People were joking because they couldn't actually hear. The volume was quite low on the megaphone. So once the announcement was made, people basically just started marching and said, didn't hear it. Don't know what you said. Sorry. So there you go, I guess. So right now, describing the situation on the ground, we have a couple of hundred people. It is a smaller group than we had in either of the marches today, and it does seem to be primarily made up of university-aged individuals, people in their 20s, early 30s. A lot of them do have signs linking them to anti-austerity movements and certain student associations. So yeah, here I am back again. As always, if you have anything you'd like to share, any questions you have, comments, go ahead and put that in the chat. I do have eyes on. And yeah, we'll see what happens this evening. This is a smaller group, which does make for the potential for possibly more confrontations with police. We didn't really see any altercations between protesters and police during the main march that started at Square Victoria. That was very peaceful. There was no real physical altercations. People didn't really taunt the police. It was peaceful. It was quiet. It was tame. And in situations like this where you have the smaller groups, you don't know exactly what's going to happen. So we're now walking down St. Catherine. We do have, as we've seen in the last couple of nights, riot police, excuse me, not riot police in this situation, but we do have police officers in high visibility jackets with batons that are flanking the protest on either side of the street. So this is a tactic that they've employed since last weekend, maybe just keeping closer tabs on what's going on, and it allows them to mobilize a little bit quicker if there's any kind of situation that develops. And as I mentioned earlier, we do have police vans following us. Memes 15, nice to see you on the stream again. Do you have more batteries? Yes. I am good on batteries. As I mentioned in the daytime stream, if you weren't around, or anybody who wasn't around for that, I was streaming Monday, last minute thing. I did have a 100% battery, but that only lasted me about an hour and 50 minutes, which isn't bad, all things considered. But the following day, Tuesday, I thought, hey, let's deal with this problem. So I bought the most reasonably priced and performing battery I could find on Amazon. It's the company that makes it is called Anker. Paid about $40 for it, which isn't that bad, but it does have the capacity to charge my phone completely from 0 to 100 3 or 4 times. So I do have that plugged in right now because my battery took a little bit of a hit during the daytime stream, but I'm good to go. So there's no concerns about battery dropping. So yeah, it's all good. You were sleeping. No, that's good. You should do that. I wish I could do that. yeah, the next step is going to be, aside from battery, I ran into the cameraman for 99 Media, whom you may recall from Monday was out sick, couldn't make it out. So 99 Media was very gracious in tweeting at people to watch us on Link Newspaper here on Ustream. So that was very nice of them. But I did run into the cameraman today. It was interesting. People were watching both streams, myself and 99 Media, and they were like, "Hey, cool! It's the two guys that I'm watching streaming," and they just met and now they're talking to each other. But we talked shop for a little bit, and he recommended that I get a monopod for the phone, which I will. And it was kind of funny. He's got his high-tech setup with a really nice camera. He's got a portable modem that he's got around with him, which allows him to stream in HD and so forth. And then his modem crapped out at a pretty critical moment in the day when police started moving in on Place Émilie Gamelin, and he pulled out his cell phone. So we were just pointing our cell phones at each other, going, "Hey, the internet is cool, man." Yeah. Thanks for mirroring. Very good. Thank you. So, we are now taking a right on René Lévesque. Get a little bit closer here so you can see what I'm talking about. The police officers that are on the sidewalks. Yeah, I skipped a class to cover most of the protest this afternoon, but I did have to leave. Basically, once the protest was over, I did have to leave 15 minutes before another class was set to start. So I made it in time, and now I'm back out here, and I'm all yours now. It's you and me time, quality time. I'm going to put my flashlight on. It doesn't have a lot of range, but the battery concern is less of an issue, and I do find that it at least illuminates about 8 feet in front of me, and it's easier to make out the police with a high visibility jacket, so we'll leave that on for now. Yeah, for those who didn't see the stream this afternoon, it was quite a diverse crowd. We had children, we had people young and old. It was a much more diverse crowd, and yeah, now we have sort of more ostensibly university students, so maybe more within your expectations of who would be out on a protest on the evenings. Okay, helps, like the light. Good. Yeah, 99 Media is really good, but you can understand me. Everybody's got a market. Mine is the interested about protests but don't speak no French demographic. And whoever else, really. I'm inclusive. We've got about, I'd say, a dozen police officers on either side, so this is pretty typical of the response that we've seen over the last couple of nights. There are, yeah, something I'll point out as well about today is that when the marchers did make their way onto St. Catherine, there was no real police response, as opposed to the last couple of days and nights when St. Catherine was sacred ground. You could not go there. That's when the tear gas and the flash grenades came out. But no, today that was quite different. The crowd was allowed to walk on St. Catherine freely for quite a while, with no real police mobilization or blockades. I doubt that'll be the case tonight, but we'll see. Why are the police in camo? Well, I wouldn't tell you procedurally, and to be quite honest, I don't necessarily want to go ask. But a lot of the riot police that you'll see out in these marches do have the sort of urban camo motif going on, and some of them actually are wearing camouflage pants in different colors, and that's I guess a mini protest on the police's part as well, because it's important to note that they're not happy about austerity protests, austerity measures in Quebec either. They are facing cuts to their pensions, and they have been protesting in their own way for a while. But yeah, that's the situation with the pants. I'm a fashion critic now. Cool. How was my class? Good. I learned a lot. I'll say that much. We've got calls and chants right now in French to scream louder so that nobody can ignore us. Yeah, exactly. A fashion critic who's also colorblind. I'm overcoming my limitations.
Je me souviens de la prise de la Bastille. Je me souviens de la prise de la Bastille.
You might be able to make it out on the stream, but there is a light drizzle this evening. It was a very clear day when the march started this afternoon. Clear skies, lots of blue, 9 degrees Celsius. It was wonderful. Oh, Jimby 1227 watched me for the first time earlier. Great job, thank you. It's my absolute pleasure to see new viewers come on here and interact, and I'm happy that you enjoyed what you saw. Yeah, Memes missed the pink camo from this afternoon. Yeah, I sort of had to check in and ask about that. It's like, is that pink? It could be red or purple. I have no frame of reference. And you know what the best part is I used to be a cinema student. That's my background, and my disability, which you may call it that, it brought an interesting irony to the term color correcting video, but I soldiered on. Yeah, we've got police here, batons, nightsticks, and a tear gas weapon blocking any access to St. Catherine. Hey, Alex.
Hey.
Alex Bailey from The Link.
Round two.
Round 2, back on the stream.
Did you want to do an approximate guess of how many people?
I'd say a few hundred. Yeah, not as many, but it's still a reasonably sized crowd.
It's also a very young crowd.
Yeah, that's what I was saying before, is that you had families out today. It was a much more diverse crowd, but no, we've got some 20-somethings out tonight. Some angry 20-somethings. The most dangerous animal. Yeah, some of you who may have partaken in my live stream today may have noticed that I did start a little bit late. I started about 2:30, can't quite remember, but I had some really dumb technical issues. Right when the march was starting, I tried connecting to Twitter just to see what the updates were before I started, and my mobile connection just dropped. So I had to call tech support and everything. I had to pull my SIM card out. Man, it sucked. But then it just magically started working again, which sucked less. So far they don't seem quite angry. No, I've seen them angrier, fair enough. Yeah, pink camos were great, but I agree. And you see a lot of interesting little protests from the police. Obviously, they're limited in what they can do to protest austerity measures, but that's one of the ways. Yeah. Quite a few police officers and vans and buses blocking off access to St. Catherine. Yeah, police have been have been pretty timid in their response to protesters getting closer to them than I've seen in the past. Oftentimes they get very antsy if you try to get close, but today it's been milder. And we now have calls from the crowd saying "Liberate our comrades," possibly referring to some of the people that were arrested today in previous marches. What's that? Yeah, I got that guy. What am I belly aching about? I'm belly aching about the fact that I was supposed to start a gosh darn live stream at 1 o'clock and had to start an hour late because my internet connection crapped out. I was just explaining myself, that's all. First world problems, I know that.
À droite!
There's a lack of unity big time.
Yeah, lack of unity?
Or at least a lack of a clear leader.
Yeah, we do see in some of these marches there are some people who are either self-designated or just are part of a movement to try and direct the crowd. So right now we've got calls for people to take a right towards St. Catherine, and that is happening. And the police are not trying to block them off, but they are following along with them. Memes is a plant. No, no, she isn't. She's just an enthusiastic viewer, and I appreciate her positive feedback and encouragement. We now have a familiar chant saying the street is ours. Who does this street belong to? To us, in French. So I am towards the front right now, and as I was saying before, usually you've got people who seem to take charge and try to influence the direction of the march, and they're usually clearly visible at the front, but that doesn't seem to be the case this evening, at least not yet. But there are still groups of people trying to influence the direction.
C'est des points entre les lèvres, gars! Ouais, mais ça peut peut-être faire un beau peu. Encore une fois, un taxi, là!
Yeah, we definitely see a lack of unity here. We got some people saying keep going, and we got some people saying U-turn. People saying we're going forward, not going back. But we're not quite sure what's going to happen. Police waiting attentively to see which direction it takes. Yeah, so people are going back and taking a left on Charlotte.
Because the car that has the noises pulled up at the front and blocked the street this way.
Yeah, so people realized that there were some police cars mobilizing to try and intercept them and block them. So
That's much better wording in mine.
Yeah, we do have police on the ground directing their headquarters on the movements of the protesters. Like I've said before, it must be one hell of an operation to dispatch this many police on the streets and to coordinate movements and all that. We do have one older gentleman here. Somebody asking, Flam Noble, cops really don't want them on St. Catherine yet. That's the recurring theme for these marches. This is what I'm talking about. I was saying this earlier. People are always bumping into each other and recognizing each other at these things. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, there is a bunny suit up ahead. Let me get a shot of that for you. Or maybe it's a onesie. I don't know. Yep, no, that is, Hey, Benjamin! You're live on the internet, how's it going? Not bad. I just bumped into a coworker. These things happen. So yeah, that seems to be, yeah, bunny soup. Excuse me, I got people on the internet asking me if it's a bunny suit. Is that what it is?
Non, non, it's Totoro, c'est un film japonais.
Okay, it's My Neighbor Totoro. All right,
Yeah.
You've answered the question. Thank you. So there you have it. Asking the hard questions, getting to the bottom of these things.
Hey! 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 Hey!
We're now approaching Saint-Laurent. The crowd does seem to have grown a little bit. My English is good? Oh, thank you. Yeah, I am from Quebec. My father is French-Canadian, but my mother is Italian-Canadian and an Anglophone. So I learned to speak English and French at the same time, so that helps. But thank you for the compliment. What a trooper, says Zakwa. Yeah, I do what I can. Well, I thought, why not, right? I already had the battery pack with me. I was already all fired up from having you fine folks watching me earlier. Come back out here. It's all good. We're coming up on 70 viewers. Fantastic. Yeah, there we go. We've got the riot police blockade blocking access to St. Catherine off of Saint-Laurent. So the crowd is taking a right on Saint-Laurent. So we're now heading back in the direction of our starting point of Place Émilie Gamelin.
1, 2, 3, 4!
Mais c'est fucking class 3!
5, 6, 7, 8! 1, 2, 3, 4! This is fucking class 1!
Oh, we've got Brandon Johnston in the chat right now, photo editor for The Link. He's watching from the office. I'm not a hero. I'm just a man with a cell phone and a voice that just won't quit until it does. I hope it doesn't tonight, though. How many people? No official estimate, but when we left, I would have estimated about maybe 300 or 400 people. At this point, I'd put that number a little bit higher, maybe in between 600 and 1,000 people, something like that. But smaller than today, but lots of people. Yeah. And oh yeah, I'll say this, there is a practical consideration for me being out here again tonight. There were concerns about my data cap on my 6 gig plan, but I realized that my rollover is on the 6th of April, and I'd only hit about 2.5, so I'm gonna milk them for all they've got, right up until the 6th. You and me, we're doing it together. Yeah, nice and calm protest. That's about right. And you know, to give credit to both sides, I mean the protesters are relatively calm, they're peaceful, and on the other end, yeah, the police have changed their tactics in the last few nights to be closer on the ground and less immediately abrasive. So yeah, no stun grenades and things like that being thrown into a crowd of hundreds and hundreds of people.
Le vent de droite ne passera pas. C'est dit.
Yeah, somebody in the chat saying that they love the about if they're referring to what I've written on the Ustream page here about my page. I put a little comment in there saying like, hey, the video isn't HD, but the commentary is, and I hope to live up to that. Yeah, any politicians in the crowd? I don't know, but at least in 2012, the last time that we had some serious nightly protests in Montreal, there were a lot of politicians that were opposed to the Liberal government out and amongst the crowd. Notably, some people from Québec Solidaire. But this evening, I don't know. There were some representatives from the political party of Québec Solidaire out in the streets this afternoon. And yeah, I see a comment here saying the cops are nice as long as the protesters remain calm. I agree and disagree with that statement to a certain extent, and I'll explain why. Yes, protesters do seem to sometimes try to provoke a confrontation by getting really close and taunting the police. That does happen, and certainly the police have to respond to that, and they do. But there are also situations where, like on last Friday evening, the march is continuing along as it has since the beginning, and the police seem to kind of arbitrarily declare it illegal at a particular moment, and then that's when the tear gas and the stun grenades came out, and yeah, one might argue that it was a disproportionate response that was kind of surprising and came out of nowhere. So yeah, that's just my 2 cents on it, but I understand your perspective. Yeah, there's another, Pride Helper saying the calm works both ways. I think that that's a pretty reasonable position to take. And we are moving towards the UQAM area, again coming up on Barry and St. Catherine at Place Émilie Gamelin. I'm probably going to get a Mama Burger later. What deals do they have right now? They don't have any of those 2 for what's it deals. All right, we'll see about that. Why is it so addictive to watch this? I don't know. I'd like to take the credit, but you know, there is something to watching people mobilizing, and there is electricity in the air. I will say that there is something addictive about being out here and streaming this stuff to a certain extent, because as a journalist, you want to keep people honest, you want to see what's happening, and this is a great venue to do so, to sort of see extreme reactions sometimes on both sides and try to sort it all out. We've got one of our news editors here, John Cook, who was in a police kettle on Friday, got out unscathed. How's it going, John?
Good, good.
Yeah, so we were just, I was just talking with the people watching, letting them know that there's something about sort of being a journalist that keeps drawing you out to these kinds of things where you're like, man,
adrenaline rush, it really is.
Yeah, there is an adrenaline rush, and you know, I was getting a lot of concern from people earlier in the evening, earlier in the late afternoon, when the police started coming in and were starting to encircle protesters and saying, be careful, get out of there. And you're like, no, this is the worst possible time to get out of here. We need to see what happens.
You have to see what happens.
Yeah.
I'm going to be here to the very end. I have to see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nothing can happen, but I'll still be.
Absolutely. We've got a Ustreamer 1499, John Cook for president. Are you announcing? Are you announcing for president?
Yes.
Answer the question.
I'm American. For U.S. president.
There we go. Yeah, there we go. He is an American citizen. He can run. You were born there, right?
I was born there.
Okay, so he can run. Yeah,
Wow.
it's in the Constitution. Read it, you guys. John Cook is my Jesus. All right. Goddamn. And maybe you're a cookie monster according to this. I don't know.
We can do that.
I don't know. Probably. Solidarity from Alaska. Thank you.
Oh yeah, Alaska.
Yeah.
Sarah Palin.
Yeah. Home of the Sarah Palin. You guys know what's going on. You know how to be pissed off about things. All right, so we're now trying to figure out where it's going. People are continuing on St. Catherine. There was a contingent of protesters that was trying to lead it on Barrie. It didn't happen. So I'm gonna plant myself here for a second and just give you a sense of how many people are here, because this is the front. And that does continue on for quite a bit. So I'd say easily we might be in the couple of thousands, maybe a few thousand. Police continue to march alongside and keep an eye on things. 86 viewers. All right, so we got some new viewers. Hello. Good evening to everyone who's joining us. I'm Matt Damol, live streamer and podcast producer for the Link Newspaper.ca. Follow me on Twitter. My handle is in the event description. And also follow at Link Newspaper. We got some awesome work. We're constantly updating and posting content about the ongoing protest in Montreal. So check it out. And again, welcome. And anybody has any comments, questions, or something they'd like to point out or ask about these protests, go ahead and ask. I'm having a look at the chat, and I will try to engage as much as possible. We seem to be taking a right on Saint-Hubert. We've got a lot of big media organizations out here tonight. Obviously, it's a big story because of the enormity of the protest today. So we've got CBC Radio-Canada out. I saw TVA had a chopper up this afternoon. Had some people commenting that they were watching like 3 different streams. Myself, 99 Media, and someone else, and also watching TVA's helicopter footage. So people staying informed, man. Love it. We've got somebody from Serbia, I think. Hello. If I could say that in Serbian, I would, but I don't know what it is. How many people did we have earlier? Earlier in the day, estimates, I couldn't give you an exact number, but the main march that started from Square Victoria, we were talking about tens and tens of thousands of people, in the higher tens of thousands. And then, as I was saying, the group returned from its planned route back here to Place Émilie Gamelin. And then another contingent broke off that was smaller but still quite sizable, maybe comparable to the size we have here this evening. A few hundred, maybe in the low thousands. And yeah, so that's about the gist of it. Zdravo. Is any of that silent? Zdravo. Hello, Serbia. We got a question here. What is the purpose of this march? That's a question that keeps coming up. And amongst us journalists, too, and amongst a lot of the activists who are out here. So there are a couple of different causes, but the main thrust here is that the current Liberal government in Quebec has an austerity agenda that they're trying to push with a lot of cuts to social services, cuts to education, etc. So yes, it's about austerity. And this is an anti-austerity march. And to coincide with the anti-austerity sort of agenda that's gaining a lot of traction in Montreal, there are a lot of different student associations on strike. And today, during the day, was a large gathering of all kinds of different organizations, students, political organizations, unions, and so forth. And it was just a huge demonstration against austerity. And this is an extension of that here tonight. Apparently I almost got that Serbian hello. Could be improved. I'm open to feedback. I'm gonna walk ahead here and try to get to the front of the crowd, get you a better view. I maybe didn't make the right choice right before the march started at 1 o'clock. I needed some carbs and protein fast stat. So I went to went to the Burger King. They got 2 chicken burgers on sale right now for $5. Gobbled those up real quick, real quick. Had a little bit of a sore tummy, but I'm okay now.
I just got a comment that Matt has this like Bruce Wayne feel to him. I don't know, this like trench coat, like it feels like he has some type of vigilante costume underneath.
You want to give him a view of what you're talking about. Hello everybody. Yeah, I wear the black coat. Helps me blend in a little bit. I got the beige pants, and I've also got
the man behind the mask.
Yeah, I've got the running shoes, Brooks running shoes. I've clocked a few hundred kilometers both running on my own and doing the protest. So yeah, that's the get up. That's the John Wayne look that he's talking about.
All right. We're about to hit a car.
Thank you. Yeah, filming, looking around and walking backwards and narrating. I do it all. It's tough, but I try. We got some people in the homes, the apartments, looking out. So we're coming up on an intersection right now with some police. This was another intersection here on Ontario that caused some controversy as police tried to block it off as much as possible. So we'll see what happens now. There doesn't seem to be a blockade, so police are just waiting to see here where the march is going to continue on to, and we will as well.
What do you think about the energy tonight? It's better, no?
Yeah, John Cook asked me about the energy. Calmer on all sides, right?
No, this is a weird, it's a small crowd, but there's a weird energy to it.
Yeah, it's a smaller crowd, so there's definitely lulls in the enthusiasm and the chanting, but it usually picks up.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And it seems that we are taking a right on Ontario. Yes, these running shoes are a must in the Manif de Soir. You are correct. They're comfy. They're good. We got somebody saying that we've got a hot streamer. I don't know who that is. That's yeah. Let the people know where they can go see a hot streamer. I'd like to know that too. We've got actually Melly B 222. If you can, the messages aren't showing up fully on my screen because it runs a little bit too long. So if you wouldn't mind just cutting up that question in maybe 3 or 4 parts so I can read it more clearly, I'd be happy to answer that for you. We have chants now calling for anti-capitalism, an anti-capitalist agenda, continuing on Ontario now. Okay, so let me cover some of these questions right now. let me go with Ustreamer 6693 first, saying hi, just joined. How's the mood? Is there a lot of tension? No, not right now. It's a smaller group than we've had today, obviously, because we had tens and tens of thousands of people out. But no, the mood is good. People are calm. They seem jovial. There's a light drizzle, but that doesn't seem to dissuade anybody. We've got a juggler over there somewhere, so I don't know if that gives you a sense. And on the police side, they're following along slowly, calmly, walking on the sidewalk, following the crowd. So yeah, no tension right now. So, Melly B 222, do I personally support the movement? Would you be there if you weren't filming or writing about it? So in terms of, if I wasn't working for the link, if I wasn't streaming directly for them, I think my main motivation for coming to one of these things would be to cover it in some way, either for an outlet or just independently. I like media. I like taking pictures and shooting video and doing podcasts. So I find that fascinating. In terms of a personal opinion, I'll say this much. In terms of the agenda on both sides, in terms of austerity, anti-austerity, student strikes and all that, I won't comment too specifically because, I do want to try to stay neutral, but I do think that this is a good thing. I do think that people being out here protesting and marching is a good thing, because the last thing you want is a population that's pissed off but lazy. You don't want people to be outraged but staying at home and not doing anything about it, and I think that's one of the things. Regardless of how you feel about the agenda, there is something to be appreciated about the fact that people are out and speaking their mind, and I think that it would be a real shame if people weren't taking that initiative. So yeah, that's how I feel about it. How many people in the street right now? Like I was saying, maybe in the upper hundreds, maybe in the low thousands, something like that. Let me give you a sweeping view here. Have there been any kettles done by the police so far? No. So there have been some kettles in the past few nights, but what I would like to clarify about kettling as a tactic is that most of the time you'll have the police encircling and kettling smaller groups of people after the group has been dispersed from a general group into smaller chunks of people, and that's not the situation we have here right now. Like, for example, when our editors at the link, John Cook, Brandon Johnson, and Sean Michaud, were kettled on Friday, there were very few people. Got some support here. We got a guy there saying, long live Afrique-Quebec and fuck Anglophones. I don't know how I feel about that one, but anyways. But no kettling tonight. What else we have here? Where are they marching to? We don't really know yet. The way these protests generally go, that's part of the issue that the police take with it, is that there's no planned itinerary, and they don't provide one to the police as a result. And there is a bylaw called P6 in Montreal that does require protesters to provide an itinerary before a march begins. Sometimes these marches are tolerated for a while before they're declared illegal. Sometimes they aren't declared illegal at all, and people will still disperse afterwards. But then sometimes when the police feel the need to, and I wouldn't be necessarily able to tell you when they make that determination, but they'll invoke P6 and people will have to disperse. So that's a roundabout way of saying that I don't know where we're going right now, and neither do the protesters, most likely. It's sort of a spur of the moment thing when they decide which direction to go in. Ustreamer 387, your message was just a little too long. Yeah, if you guys can limit it to maybe like one short sentence at a time, and if you have multiple things to say, just cut it up a little bit, because I see here numbers for tonight's Menif are actually, and then it cuts out, so I don't know what that says. Sai, always back to language and politics. Yes, that is certainly an issue in this province, and doubly weird for me because I'm perfectly bilingual. I've got a French Canadian background and an Anglophone background. I speak both languages fluently without an accent, so I've got no stake in that argument, and it's super weird to see it unroll. 400, not 1,000. Yeah, possible. Like I said, those are just estimates. And those are estimates from me and estimates from Twitter, I'll say as well, because I mean, even today we were hearing Twitter was saying, 20,000. Oh, Twitter's saying 70,000. All right. Place your bets, I guess. Is it hot outside? Might join after the hockey game. Mild. I'm not chilly. I'm wearing a dress shirt and a black overcoat with no scarf, and I'm feeling pretty fine. So yeah, come out if you want to. We got Ustreamer 6235 saying thank you for your time, energy, and coverage. My pleasure. It's an absolute delight. We got a good one here. Do we typically see more violence during the night marches? From Ustreamer 21901. Yes, I would say that that's a fair way of putting it. I can't explain why that is. There might be something within the police tactics that make them change their behavior during the day because they are highly visible in broad daylight. It might be a psychological thing. I mean, people act crazy at night. I don't know, but yeah, in my experience, there is more tension and physicality to the night marches. Yeah. 2-1, we're losing. All right. Yeah, so we're continuing. We're now coming up to the intersection of Plessis and Ontario. So yeah, that's the direction we're going in. East, yeah. We got somebody who just joined. There have been violence, tear gas, etc. so far. Oui. OK, ben Non, je comprends, mais je suis un journaliste, puis j'ai le droit d'être ici, puis j'ai le droit de filmer. Merci. C'est beau, merci. Bonne soirée. So we had some people come up to me and say that they didn't enjoy being filmed, but journalists are protected in these situations. We do have the right to be out here and film in these kinds of marches. It is a public event, so yeah. But I do respect their feedback. But yes, back to that question: has there been any violence, tear gas, or anything? No, not yet. And there might not necessarily be any. But so far, it's been a peaceful march. We've got some people coming out of clubs and bars to come and show their support. Such an easygoing guy. Hey, why get mad? No need for that. It's 2-2. All right, Montreal tying the game. That's the Montreal Canadiens hockey team for our international viewers. Hockey's kind of a big deal here. Yeah, I got people here saying that you would be streaming if you were out here. It's sort of the tools are there for anybody to really do it. I mean, I've described my setup before, but I'm basically using a Galaxy Note 2 mobile phone with a pretty generous data plan, and I've got a battery pack in my breast pocket. So all in all, I mean, not counting the phone, which I had anyways, but I've spent less than $100 on this whole setup so far, so yeah. Am I near the front? Yeah, pretty close to the front. I'd say about at the 1/3 mark. Yeah, so there's the front right there. Someone asking, is it one big march or like a few smaller ones? Yeah, at this point it's one group. It is smaller, so it's easier for these groups to stay together. But there hasn't been any action from the police yet, so it's relatively easy for people to stick together in these situations. Middleman 514, arm of steel to film the phone like that. Yeah. It's okay. It builds the upper body strength. It's a good thing. Yeah, so going back to what I was saying before, if you want to get out there and stream wherever you are, I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be situations like this. In the last like 2 years, I'd say, the sort of live streaming phenomenon has taken off like crazy, and you've got people live streaming all kinds of things, and there's an audience for it. Like in almost every situation, if you can provide entertaining and insightful commentary on events or whatever you come across, yeah, go ahead and do it. People will watch it. I mean, people are watching me, for Christ's sake, so there's hope for all of us yet. Ustreamer28791. No, it's not winter in Montreal anymore. It was until like, I don't know, 17 minutes ago. But yeah, winter, although spring officially started, you will have winter conditions going well into April. But no, it's relatively mild right now. The snow is mostly melting. We were in the park before, and there were just flashes of green on the ground, and it brought a tear to my eye. Or it may have been a gas canister. I don't know. No, there wasn't any gas canister. I'm just joking. Not as many Americans protesting the cold. That might be true. I don't know. It's a way of life here. We do everything in the cold. Everything. Yeah, see, this is what I'm talking about. We got some people saying that they've got sources saying there are 5,000 people marching right now. I would say that that's probably an overestimation, but it just goes to show that it's totally unreliable, just going off of Twitter. You got some people saying 400, some people saying 5,000. Yeah. Now, I'm not saying people are just throwing numbers around on Twitter to get followers, but 5,000 sounds a little high to me. Yeah, it isn't cold right now based on Canadian standards. That's fair. 600 people confirmed on Facebook. Yeah. Yeah, what's all this business about Memes 15 being a plant? She's not a plant, she's a person. Duh. Plants can't type. They photosynthesize. So, there. What does democracy look like? Oh, that's a good question. Democracy looks like that guy in front of me. White guy with dreads. That's democracy. Matt getting so popular he needs a mod. Yeah, I'm just sort of starting to figure out the logistics of doing this kind of stuff. Like I did open it up so that anybody could chat, so took that risk, giving everybody an opportunity to share their voice. And we'll see about possibly getting some mods if some people are getting too rowdy. And come on, guys, let's keep it civil. Let's all be cool. Is John Cook still kicking? Yeah, probably. I mean, he said he was going to be around there, and he's never lied to me. So, yes, he's still kicking. I've got part of your question here, 6235. SPVM forces, have they toned down their strength? So I'll answer that generally by saying that, yeah, I have observed that since the protest on Friday that I was attending, where, man, there were a lot of flash grenades thrown in a very close vicinity to me, and lots of running around, and riot police coming real close to bashing me as they were running over to some people. Yeah, those were serious tactics, and we haven't seen anything like that. And it may very well be in response to the chaos that ensued on Friday, because we haven't seen anything near that kind of response. How old am I, by the way? I'm 25 years young. Born the same year as Taylor Swift. Or so she says. Not convinced. We'll see. Montreal Canadiens 3-2. Thank you. Thank you for the update. Specifically, yes. The question was in relation to the face shot, so I'll explain that for some of our viewers who may not be aware of it from other places. So, in Quebec City, which is a couple of hours from here, there was an anti-austerity protest where a young woman was very close to a police officer who fired off a tear gas canister, and he kind of fired it point blank range and actually hit her in the face. She got rogered but good in the chin with a tear gas canister, and there was some pretty striking imagery coming out of that of her at the protest and afterwards, and it sort of galvanized a lot of people. I don't know if it necessarily changed the attitudes of police here, because we did see some extreme tactics being used by police after that incident, but I think that specifically the toning down of police action is in response to what happened in Montreal on Friday. So yeah, thanks for the question. Yeah, we got somebody here saying that they charged a police line before she got shot. Yeah, so it's a tricky balance, especially as a journalist, where you have to sort of figure out where your line is editorially. Do you use words like the protesters provoked that police response? Because provocation can mean anything. That's a word that can be used to say a lot of things. So. Yeah, protesters were charging. We have seen situations where protesters have tried to charge barricades and blockades, and police responses have been quite strong in response. It's hard to comment on. So we've got some people, oh no, we've got a thumbs down. We've got a thumbs down from the lady in the window. She doesn't like my coverage, you guys. She's watching this on her computer and she's going, nah, this guy's an amateur, no future. We have taken a left on Plessis off of de Maisonneuve. So I'll try to stay close to the group because we do have limited illumination from the lampposts here, but yeah, we're continuing to go. All right, to everybody who's watching, I do see that there's some back and forth right now. Look, I'm not naive. I know what goes on the internet with you internet viewers and your comments and your jabs. Let's try to keep it civil. All right, do it for me. It'll warm my heart and it'll make the coverage better. Thank you. I appreciate it. Am I close to the start or the front of the line? I'm close to the front right now. It's always a good idea if you're covering these kinds of things, unless there's something specifically happening anywhere else in the march, but you want to stick to the front because that's usually where you're going to see confrontations. So right now, this is a perfect example. We're coming up to a busy intersection, and the police are mobilizing and running right now to try and catch up with the front of the crowd to see where they go, probably so they can either keep their superiors updated or their other colleagues, or to join up and reinforce a barricade. We have a question here asking for an update. We're now on Plessis and St. Catherine. That is our current location, and we are turning left onto Plessis. We do have, okay, so this is a new site for this evening. We do have riot police coming out in riot gear, tear gas canisters, etc. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be employed, but they are present, they are here, and they are reinforcing a barricade with some other police officers on St. Catherine to stop the protesters from moving in that direction. So we are continuing down this side, going down St. Catherine east. Have I been reporting since the morning? No, not quite. I was on the ground starting at 1 p.m., which was the meeting time for the main protest that drew out thousands, tens of thousands of people today in Montreal. So I've been out for about that long. I took a slight interlude, about 2 hours, to go to a class. I am a student, and I did have a class to go to. So got that shit out of the way, and now I'm back here where I belong, right? Yeah. Is it the GI police or basic cops in gear following the man? If yeah, so usually what you'll have here on the sides, the people who are following are sort of they're not regular cops in terms of like, you know, walking the beat kind of cops in a cop car. They have their high visibility jackets on, and beyond that, they do have zip ties, so they are set up for covering protests. But no, the real riot police are the guys that I was showing you earlier in the darker uniforms, who've got the tear gas and the flash grenades, and some of them have projectile weapons for sending out tear gas. So that's the breakdown of the police presence. Yeah, we got a comment here. Wonder how the individual police persons feel about this. That's a great question, because as I was saying earlier, they also have an anti-austerity agenda. But you know, they're cops. They're ordered to do this stuff. So there was some joking earlier in the afternoon. Some protesters trying to have some fun with cops, and you see some smiles now and again. You know, everybody here is human. Must be in good shape to walk all day. Yeah, I'm an amateur runner. I've gotten up to close to a half marathon, so I got that cardio. I'm doing all right. Thanks for the concern.
C'est quoi le message?
Streamer 65731 running shoes. Oh yeah, running shoes. I got some Brooks running shoes. I've clocked in many hundreds of kilometers in these puppies, both covering protests and running. So they're reliable, and they're still going. Put Ferguson to shame. Yeah, that's an interesting comment. 28791 saying the people here in Montreal put Ferguson to shame. That's a very, very different situation. I don't want to get too far into it, but it is worth considering that the kinds of things that we're protesting here in Montreal about are they're less race-based. There's a lot. It could be argued that there's less racial tension in Canada. We really don't have this issue of unarmed young black men being shot. It's, you know, I'm not saying that racial discrimination doesn't happen in Montreal or that racism doesn't exist, but it's a very different dynamic. So yeah, just something to consider as well. What is the average age of protesters? I'd say mid-20s. Yeah, mid-20s. We got university and maybe some young professionals out here, but yeah, I'd say 25 is probably a good average age. Let's have a quick check-in. We've got 132 viewers, so welcome to everybody if you're just joining us. This is an anti-austerity march in downtown Montreal. So far, no altercations with police. Protesters are loud but calm. Police are flanking them on both sides, just following, but so far, no confrontations. Yeah, we got a comment here about this is more like anti-capitalism. That's certainly a fair comment. I mean, there's a lot of different agendas here. You do have some more hardcore groups that are protesting specifically against the very notion of capitalism. That is certainly a reality. But I'd say that the thrust of the popular movement is, if you take both ends of the spectrum, you probably fall somewhere in the middle where it's about austerity measures, not necessarily about capitalism in general. So, but yeah, there is that element. So thanks for that comment. Have I had dinner, Matt? No. No, I haven't. I had a piece of jerky that somebody suggested I bring. I did have that in my bag. I had a blue Powerade earlier because I like the blue one. I like the yellow one too. Grape is all right. But yeah, no dinner. That's later. My sustenance is your viewership, so stick around, and I won't get hungry. Also, if you log off, these people will be upset. We got a question here from Ustreamer 8069 asking what typically triggers police to begin dispersing the night marches. As I was saying earlier, that's a tough one to answer because it sometimes seems kind of arbitrary. Specifically thinking about last Friday, what seemed to trigger them was the protesters repeatedly turned at intersections that led them to St. Catherine Street, which is sort of the main artery in downtown Montreal. And the police were very adamant with their blockades, with riot police, that no, you're not going this way. And at some point, when the crowd moved back into that direction, that's when they decided to disperse the crowd with some very violent tactics, people being pushed, tear gas, flash grenades, etc. If you want an on-the-ground sort of experience of what that was like on Friday, go to the linknewspaper.ca and check out my last episode of the Download podcast. It's sort of an audio soundscape that brings you what it's like to be on the ground when shit goes bad, to be frank. So check that out, and maybe you'll get a sense that'll answer your question even more. Let's see here. Thumbs up on the Jack Links. Yeah, and it was Jack Links, actually. I didn't do that on purpose, but yes. How many cops are deployed at such protests? I mean, it depends, but sometimes it seems like there are hundreds of them. Because you have to keep in mind, you got groups like these where you got like a dozen cops on one side, dozen cops on the other, so you're already, maybe 1 or 2 dozen actually, so you're already up to, 50 or something. But then you've got the very high numbers of police that are in cars, that are mobilizing blockades. You have riot police, so yeah, in the high hundreds, I'd say. It's a huge operation. Are they less likely to use tear gas with major media present? That's certainly an interesting theory, but I, in my experience, I have seen pretty extreme measures employed in front of more cameras than you could shake a stick at. So that's something to take into consideration. Location, we are on Amherst and de Maisonneuve, the corner of Amherst and de Maisonneuve, moving west. Yeah, we got here reports there's about 2,000 people. Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, I mean, I was talking with some major media. I was speaking to the cameraman for CTV News, which is one of the big networks here. We were chatting the other night, and he was out the whole night on Friday, and he saw the whole thing. So, and they're pretty visible. They got big backpacks and camera packs, and either somebody assisting them technically from behind, or they have a security guard with them. So they are visible. The police know they're there, but I don't think that has a major impact on their tactics and their behavior. So I'm at the front of the line right now. We're on Saint-Timothée and de Maisonneuve. Yeah, that's Ustreamer 65731. I would have a nice view if I had a drone right now. That's the next step. It's all about investment. Got some people on the sidewalk here screaming in support, putting their fists up. continues to be quite a number of people. I don't think the crowd's gotten any smaller at this point, and we're continuing through the downtown core. Like I said earlier, I did see some riot police that were starting to blockade access to that street that I was talking about, St. Catherine. That does still seem to be a major concern for them. Need night vision with the drone. Hey man, in for a penny, in for a pound. That's what I say. Yeah, Ustreamer 2009 going west again. That's the nature of these marches. Is you'll do a lot of circles. You'll walk by the same thing several times. Like I said, not necessarily an organized route, and that's part of the problem. Is that they're in violation of a bylaw in Montreal that says that you have to give an itinerary. I believe it's 24 hours in advance to the police, and that has not been done because there is no real itinerary. They're just sort of marching around. Is it raining? Yes, it is. It is. Just a little bit, though. Yeah. Cheap drones starting at $20. 8 minutes of autonomy. Yeah. That would be real useful for me. Ustreamer 8069. I'll mention it again. I said it a little bit earlier, but you might just be coming in. If you can put your questions in a little bit shorter, maybe a short sentence, and if it's multiple sentences, if you can just break them up a little bit, because I don't see longer questions in full. So I'd love to answer your question. Just break it down for me, man or girl. How many people are walking now? Yeah, maybe in the high hundreds, low thousands. That's what I'd say. Yeah, Flammable, that's correct. The police don't want them on the commercial part of St. Catherine. They'll be on St. Catherine in some of the less busy areas, but once they try to get to the real core where the malls and stuff are, that's a big no-no. Is it only this group? Yeah, pretty much. Do I think the protest will end up in the metro like the other days? It's hard to tell because it all depends on when the police decide to mobilize and to try to box the protesters in. That has been, you rightly point out that in the last Monday, that was the tactic that was employed, and they tried to do that again. The police did this afternoon. They did box people in and sort of funnel them into the metro. So I wouldn't be surprised if they do that again, but again, it depends entirely on where people continue to march to and where the police are able to sort of funnel them in, like placing blockades on the street. The university strike, will it end? I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of chatter that the main student organizations are recommending that things be toned down a little bit and that strike action be redeployed in the fall. We'll see what happens. I'm on live on Global Occupy Newsnet. Great streams today. Thank you very much, Northern Not Guy. Any communist or associations flags tonight? Yeah. You see all kinds of different organizations. We're now on Barry and Maisonneuve, by the way. Yeah, but you see all sorts of different causes being spoken about. You see some communist flags. You see, all kinds of things. Anarchists? Yeah, probably. Are some marchers just there to be hooligans? That's a human nature question. And I feel pretty comfortable in saying that in any of these situations where there's a large assembling of people, you'll have people who are just here to cause trouble, certainly. They're nowhere near the majority, definitely not. But you will have some people who come here just to sort of, cause a ruckus. They'll try to provoke police. Maybe they'll try to elicit some violent response from the police. Who knows? But that's a fair question. How long did the longest march like this last recently? I'd say today was bloody long. It started at 1 o'clock. I should clarify though that it was I followed it continuously, but it was one march that started the main march at 1 p.m. at Square Victoria in Montreal. Tens and tens of thousands of people. I followed them, and then the group sort of broke off, and there were other marches that started. So that was, I followed that until about 5:45. My class started at 6, so I had to run over to Concordia University. But that was about over 4.5 hours of covering protests. So we're now coming on the corner of Saint Denis. We do have firework being thrown in the air. And we have a police blockade on Saint-Denis. We got some John Williams music being chanted. Yeah, we got a comment here, fireworks, woo, they'll go arrest that guy. Yeah, you got to take into consideration that fireworks being thrown off, again, I'm not justifying any sort of police action here, but that's really dangerous, man, seriously. And it was especially weird to see in 2012 during the big Maple Spring protests, because you had some evenings where there were families out, and I saw some kids on the shoulders of their parents that were like 2 or 3 years old, and you add people firing off fireworks, and then add onto that those people throwing fireworks are drinking alcoholic beverages. Recipe for disaster. Oh, and little children heads are soft and malleable. You don't. I hate thinking about it. Are you following all the protests with live stream? I would love to, but I do it when I can. I started on Monday. This is my 3rd live stream. I'm a full-time student. I work part-time. I do this. Not enough hours in the day, man. I'd love to, but I'll do what I can. We got another firework there. We got a comment here, pretty sure the cops gas kids, that's way more dangerous. Yeah, I've seen the aftermath of people being pepper sprayed and tear gassed, and it's not pretty. I took in a little bit on Friday, trace amounts of the stuff, but it's still burned like a mother, and really, really irritated the eyes and throat, and I can only imagine what it would be like if it went off right next to you. And a lot of my Link colleagues at the Link newspaper.ca don't have to imagine. They've lived through it, and yeah, they didn't love it. They weren't fans. So we are now moving closer towards the downtown core. This is the site of a lot of confrontations between police and protesters as they move in this direction towards St. Catharines. So we'll see what the police response is like, whether more riot police are deployed to set up blockades. Laura Lalonde.
Hey.
What are the updates? This is our creative director / photographer on the ground.
Yep.
What do you got going on?
Well, I've been hearing some flashes. I'm not sure if those are flash grenades or...
No, we had fireworks going off.
Okay,
yeah,
okay, good.
We had 2, I think, that went off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're back. We're back on de Maisonneuve, and we're heading down to Saint-Laurent. It's been a long walk.
Yeah.
Nothing has really transpired yet, but we're getting there.
Was I injured in a march this year? No. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I've got really good luck so far. I've been to dozens and dozens of these protests. I did a lot of coverage of the ones in 2012, and I seem to get out of scrapes quite often. I haven't been directly tear gassed or pepper sprayed. There are definitely some close calls, though. I've been boxed in not kettles, but sort of police blockades as they surround larger groups of protesters. I've had a couple of riot police charge at me, but I don't know. Lucky. It seems like Montreal Police doing a good job of updating locations. Yeah, I mean, there must be a lot of manpower going into tracking the movements. Sometimes we do have police helicopters up helping track locations. That doesn't seem to be the case tonight, but yeah, there's quite a big operation here in trying to update where the crowd is going and mobilizing as a result. Apparently we've got word here that the police want to send the protest back to their starting point. Can't confirm that, but if that is the case, then that would be in keeping with the tactic where they've been trying to get the protesters back at the starting point of Place Émilie Gamelin so that they can funnel them into the metro system, end things peacefully. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that's the tactic that's employed at some point tonight. We now have people calling for different directions as we come onto the intersection of Saint-Dominique and the Maisonneuve. Ustreamer 8069, wishing me good luck to continue. Stay safe and good job. Thank you. Much obliged. Yeah, marches mostly turn left. Yeah, that's never thought of it that way, but that might be true. We do have riot police presence here on Saint-Dominique. Police vans. Is the direction at the will of the few at the front? Mostly yes, that is the case. So in this situation, for example, I mean, if this intersection was open, you might see a couple of people at the front try to sort of to redirect the crowd. Most of the time it works, and yeah, the front sort of directs the crowd. But a lot of the times what will happen is you'll have a few people who are like, yeah, we're going right, and then the people behind them are like, no, we're not, and that sort of ends there, and they keep going. Matt, somebody saying here, hoping that I'm not working tomorrow. No, I don't have work tomorrow, but I do. I got some shit to do, man. But I'll get to sleep in, so don't worry about it. And my girlfriend said that she was going to make me breakfast, so that's awesome. Oh, okay, so here, yeah, we got some people saying, hey, let's go right. And yeah, that's what's going to happen here. Saying that I'm not going to have a voice tomorrow. Yeah. Oh boy, we got a question for the ages from Ustreamer 6235. Why do I think the people of Quebec province vote for the Liberal Party of Quebec? I will answer that question in a moment, because we do have a standstill here on the corner of the Maisonneuve and Saint-Laurent. Some people have stopped, and the police are announcing on megaphones to keep moving. This is something we've seen a lot, is that the police don't like it when you stay in front of them. Yeah, so people are continuing to move. You'll see a few of these standoffs where people just sort of stand around a little bit. So, back to the question, why the people of Quebec vote for the Liberal Party of Quebec. So, I am not a political science expert, but I am aware of Quebec politics, and here's my 2 cents. Politically, Quebec is super weird. That's my opening salvo. I think a lot of it has to do with language, to be completely honest, because you do have Québec Solidaire, which is sort of a smaller party, sort of a third-party situation, but the two major political parties these days are, in fact, the Liberal Party of Quebec and the Parti Québécois, with a few other parties that I won't go into that, but let's say those are the two main ones. The Parti Québécois, that is not in power right now, it could be argued that they are more to the left of the Liberal Party. Certainly a lot of their policies are, and they are very much opposed to the austerity measures of the Liberal government. And I'll also point out that when the PQ, the Parti Québécois, is in power, you don't see nearly as many of these protests. However, the Parti Québécois is a sovereignist party. They do have in their agenda a will for Quebec to be its own country. And they are quite heavy on the preservation and the protection of the French language in Quebec, especially in Montreal, where it's such a cosmopolitan city and you have so many people from so many places speaking so many languages. So a lot of people feel alienated by the PQ. They may actually be politically quite aligned with a lot of their policies, economically, environmentally, socially, and so on. But when it comes to the language issue, Anglophones have a big problem with the PQ because they don't want to vote for a party that they feel doesn't represent their interests in that regard, and they're scared of the idea of more referendums and sovereignty debates. So yeah, that's sort of my short answer to try and say that I think that's why a lot of people vote for the Liberal Party, is because it's the lesser of two evils to them. Somebody pointing out here, charter of values problem. Yeah, So you did have last year, when the Parti Québécois was in power, they introduced a Quebec Charter of Values, and the basic idea there was that it was going to limit the wearing of certain religious symbols by public employees. So, for example, there would be a situation where a teacher at a university who is a public employee wouldn't be able to wear a kippah or a large cross or a hijab if they were Muslim. So the idea there was to keep public institutions and public spaces secular, both in spirit and in function. Very controversial. There was a lot of protesting about that on a smaller scale than what I'd say we have during the Liberal government, austerity that we have here. But still some protests, and yeah, that was a huge deciding factor in the PQ being voted out of power in favor of the Liberals. So yeah, that's absolutely true. 6235 thanking me for my answer. You're welcome. Yeah, got some comments here. People appreciative of my context and comments. I'm happy to answer these questions, so keep them coming. So we're continuing here. No real change in police tactics or in numbers. It seems to be quite stable on both fronts. It is starting to rain a little bit harder, but nothing serious. I do have a case on my phone that will probably protect it adequately, so no worries there.
Are you with the Link?
Link newspaper, yeah, Matt Media. Oh, hey, I met one of your colleagues today. Actually, I was talking to Simone, and we were chatting about the fact that you guys weren't out on Monday, and I was thanking him for tweeting out on us and saying go follow Matt Demol. So yeah.
We're not mainstream, we're all in this together. You guys are CUTV.
Yeah. So we got 99 Media out here. Like I was saying, I did speak with another one of the 99 Media. Cameramen before, and yeah, those guys are great. Go check them out. 99 Media. They do live streams as well. They're on Twitter. They've been doing really amazing work since 2012. What am I studying at school? Journalism. Yeah, might be kind of a shock to you, but yes, I am a journalism student. Becoming an expert on protests. Well, I'm certainly becoming an expert at walking and turning on streets and having leg pain. We do have some more police cars in the distance. They are continuing to mobilize as the crowd continues to advance. And running, yep. Is the Menev going against traffic so far, same direction? Either or. Right now we're going against traffic, but there isn't any. Yeah, we were on a one lane. We're coming up on 2 lanes, but most of the time, what the police will do is, since they're anticipating the movements of the crowd, they will try to block off certain streets from car access, just to stop people from being caught up and in the protests. So yeah, that's usually what you'll see happen. Commentary great and informative. Thank you. Aw. Yeah, there's some, at these kinds of protests, Ustreamer 6235, there's a lot of energy. People are enthusiastic about this cause. And they're surrounded by their peers and their colleagues, so there's quite a lot of a sense of solidarity as people march for a cause that they all kind of believe in. Matt, make sure you drink enough. Ustreamer 6235, I'm out of liquids. I had one big ass bottle of Powerade. I wasn't planning originally on coming out here tonight, but I did sans drinks. So, yeah. I'm all right though. It's not critical yet. They need rhythmic instruments, drums maybe. Yeah, I'm actually surprised there aren't any tonight. You'll usually have a drummer or two, and I'm not kidding here. We had the last couple of nights sax players, flautists, all kinds of orchestral arrangements. Really, really nice. It's kind of like being at a concert. Yep. Is the sax guy there tonight? No, there's no saxophone tonight, unfortunately. But he played some really nice slow jams on Monday that really set the mood. Coming up once again on Saint Denis. This is what I was talking about earlier, is that you come back to familiar locations over and over and over again. It's kind of funny in these situations because you've got blockades on both sides, and then you've got chants saying, move forward, don't move back. And it's like, well, yeah, I mean, your options are limited, friend. Yeah, I guess they don't want their instruments to get wet. Yeah, that's probably a concern. Got some people out, checking out what's going on. People come out of the clubs and the bars. It's starting to rain a little bit more, but I'm sticking with it. Let me check out how my battery's doing. Battery's fine. Yep, my new battery pack is working. I can keep going. So yeah, here we are right now. We were hearing some chatter before in the. Oh, my bad. I gotta go. Thanks for being there. You're welcome. See you again. Hopefully. So yes, we were hearing some chatter from police scanners before that the police were trying to funnel the protesters back to their starting point, and that seems to be coming to bear right now. We're coming up on Barry Street, and we've got people saying go left, but no, there's a huge police presence here, and the only direction right now, practically speaking, seems to be going right, and that would take them back to Place Émilie Gamelin, the starting point, which would also take them quite close to a major metro entrance where the police might possibly try to funnel people in peacefully. We're on the intersection of Ontario and Barrie. The bridge is over there, and we're taking a right towards the bus depot. I'm going to get ahead a little bit to see what the reaction of the rest of the crowd is as they're being directed towards their starting point. Are they not concerned about so many in the metro once? They do have police inside the metro. That's something to point out, is that the coordination and the remobilization of the police forces does include people going into the system, the metro system, and they do have police officers, sometimes in riot gear, sometimes just in plain clothes, just hanging around at the turnstiles, and they do have a presence there. So no, I don't think there's too much of a concern. And yeah, somebody making a point here that that might make it easier to contain. Yeah, that seems like a reasonable assessment. Because you've got smaller spaces. You can't really have larger groups massing up as easily. So yeah. Is the number of protesters reducing? No, not seriously. It has dropped off a little bit. I think people get the sense that it may be coming to an end as we go to the starting point. So yeah, some people have left, but we still have a few hundred people here. People calling for onlookers and bystanders to join them in the streets. that was something really interesting as a phenomenon in 2012, was seeing just how popular that uprising became, and on many occasions saw a situation where somebody would start chanting, you know, "In the street with us, in the street with us," and it would grow louder and louder, and you would actually have people like get up from their seats at a restaurant and join the damn thing. It was a hell of a thing to see. We got calls here for, somebody keeps saying Molotov cops. No, gas is expensive, man. We don't see a lot of that. Times are tough. Yeah, so yeah, we do see a reduction here in the number of people. And if I had to guess, I think that we are going to see a repetition of Monday night and what we saw earlier today, where people are going to be calmly funneled into the metro system. I think that that's the hope for the police as well. Trying to figure out what I'm going to have to drink after this. I'm really thirsty. We're coming up on the intersection of Barry and Maisonneuve towards Place Émilie Gamelin, our starting point, and many steps closer to the metro. Let's see what happens. I think I want a root beer. I think that's what I'm going to get. Nice tall root beer. Streaming now for over an hour and a half. I'd like to thank all of you for watching. I will keep streaming until this party ends. But yeah, thanks for hanging out, you guys. I really appreciate the feedback and the comments and the questions. So I'll keep doing this and keep coming over and checking things out, asking questions. I'm really enjoying doing this. This is my third time, and hopefully, well, no, not hopefully, it won't be my last. Somebody's shouting out here, root beer bar. Yeah. Find a dépanneur and get a drink. Stay hydrated. Yeah, I'm going to do that right after this ends. My gut tells me that that's not going to be in very long, so I'm going to stick with it. Oh. Yeah. I want something fizzy. Not necessarily a root beer, but I want a little bit of fizz. I want a little bit of pop from my drink. I should bring water with me, yes. Respect from LA. That is, wow. Ustreamer19871. That's the realest of respect. Thank you. Yeah, I did have to have some liquids with me. Again, I got caught off guard. Same thing happened Monday where I just didn't know that I was going to be talking for that long doing the live stream, so I didn't have any liquids with me. Today I did have some liquids, but that was intended for the one live stream I was going to do in the afternoon. So didn't anticipate coming back out here for another 2 hours, but yeah. Root beer float, says memes 15-1. Yeah, there's a time and a place for that, but when I want to drink, I want to drink my drink. I don't want to spoon around a glob of ice cream in it. I get it though. I understand the appeal. It's not necessarily for me. Communist group, can you shoot for me to take the screenshot? I don't think we really have a big presence of communist groups out here. I didn't. There were some hammer and sickle signs and flags out today, but less of that this evening. So no, sorry, I don't think I'm going to be able to get that for you. Oh wait, no, that's just a. Oh no, hey, I take it back. Here you go. All right, there you go. Apparently 3-3 for the Montreal Canadiens. That's a heartbreaker. Need a hat with drinks and straws. Yeah, that sounds like a practical idea. I'll take that into consideration. is Anarcho Panda back in the mix. For those of you who are not aware, Anarcho Panda, oh Jesus, oh my God, we're not stopping here. It's still going. That's all right, so am I. No griping, soldier on. Anarcho Panda is a man in a panda suit. And he was sort of a staple of the 2012 protests, quite iconic, been arrested a couple of times. I believe he's a college professor by trade, by day, panda bear by night. No, I haven't seen him around, but I have seen people in pseudo-panda outfits maybe carrying the torch. Okay, so Ustreamer6235, I see your question there. If you can just break that up into a couple of different messages, because it's too long, I don't see the whole thing, and I'd be happy to answer it, so just break that up, please. Apparently I sound like somebody's professor. Is he good? Is he any good? Please say yes. Yeah, so what's happened now is I think a lot of people, myself included, were anticipating that this party was going to end when we took that left on St. Catherine towards the metro entrance. It hasn't, so a lot of people are sort of disbanding right now. The police continue to follow them. We'll see what happens. More people joining or leaving? Yeah, like I was saying just now. Some people, not anybody joining, but a few people leaving. But we still have a couple hundred people. What's my take from Middleman 514 on covering Magny-Francoul, the protests? Well, it depends. I mean, it is important to cover. You do have situations where I think that the mainstream media doesn't necessarily do the best job in covering them. I mean, the example I keep going back to is last Friday when the CBC hung out for an hour and sort of took off, and when they did their write-up, it was a quick hit online, and they basically just wrote a little bit of preamble on the strikes, and then they used 59 words to describe the night's events, and I really didn't feel that did the evening anything close to justice. So yeah, that's a way of me saying that my take on covering it is that somebody has to do it, and a lot of people are. 99 Media, CUTV, so on and so forth, other live streamers like myself. I do think that it's an important contribution to journalism, because it's often not covered as extensively as it could, I think. So yeah, the question here was, some people in Quebec society despise the spoiled students in protests. How can that be changed? Okay, so if the question is how can the perspective, how can that view be changed? It can't. In a lot of ways it can be, because it's a generational thing. People get old. They get jaded. They get a mortgage. You'd like to think that after having kids they would sort of maybe stay plugged into issues that are going to affect the next generation. But yeah, that's definitely a sentiment that you hear. People saying like, "Oh, these goddamn kids," and they're, that was sort of a stereotype in 2012. It's like, "Oh, all these kids with their iPhones, and what are they complaining about?" It's like, yeah, well, that's sort of beside the point. So I don't necessarily think that's a perspective that can be changed. But yeah, interesting question, and it's definitely an issue in Quebec. We do have a standstill right now on Maisonneuve and Barrie as the crowd stops. We do have a little bit of a riot police presence. Here in Serbia, we don't cover any protests as Ustreamer 65731. Yeah, still fear new revolution. I can only imagine what that's like. I mean, I do understand, like, people saying, like, "Oh, you guys are so brave coming out here," but, like, we are still relatively protected. It does happen that journalists will get their asses kicked from time to time, but it's not as, it's really not as serious as it is in some other places, and it's important to remain aware of that people don't get shot with live ammunition at these things. Just another lemming saying no pop. No, we don't call it pop here. Some other parts of Canada, the more Anglophone speaking places like Ontario and more to the west, they'll call soda pop, but we don't do that here. Yeah, well, I got a guy here on the stream from the I think he's from the U.S. and I said I was going to get a root beer after this because I'm thirsty. And there's a discussion now about how we don't call it pop. No, we don't.
Oh, okay.
We don't call it pop.
Where are you from?
I'm from the Link newspaper at Concordia. We're live streaming right now.
Hi!
Where are you from?
I'm from Newfoundland.
Hey, right on.
Hey. Hi everybody out there. Happy you guys could be with us.
We've got people from Serbia and the U.S. It's fantastic. So right now we are at a standstill. We do have a blockade on the corner of Barrie and Maisonneuve. Some of the protesters have stopped. I'm going to walk around a little bit and try to get a sense of how many people are still here. It's definitely in the low hundreds, maybe 100 or 200. So it's situations like this where you either have a peaceful dispersion or people hold their ground in the face of a police blockade, and that's when things get a little bit ugly. So let's have a look here. Man, I want that get up. Look at that. They got a little. They got the whole thing. But it's okay. It's what makes me me. I'm unique. Hi from Quebec City. Hey. I want a Coke. What kind of Coke? We only really have the regular and the Diet Coke here. We used to vanilla Coke. Is that still a thing in the U.S.? Can you buy like a vanilla Coke from the Coca-Cola Corporation? We can't do that here anymore, and I really like vanilla Coke. Last time I had a vanilla Coke was in Glasgow, Scotland, of all places. It was a candy shop, and they had some freshly stocked vanilla Coke, and I went balls crazy over it. Cherry Coke, I like that too. You know, not always. It's not an everyday thing here. One duck-sized horse or 100 duck-sized horses, like to date or to hang out with. I don't quite understand the question. If you want to clarify, I'd be happy to answer the question, but as it stands right now, my imagination is running wild. Yeah, and don't think that just because I'm having that dumbass Coke conversation that I'm not paying attention. I am. I'm a multitasker. Don't listen to the stereotype. Men can multitask. When it comes to stupid stuff, not like real things. Coke equals capitalism, boycott Coke, Pepsi, etc. That's right. Yeah, I'm gonna make my homemade soda. And get a carbon machine and all that. What's going on, Matt? Ustreamer4495. So, if you're just joining us, we are on the corner of Barrie and de Maisonneuve. We've got a small contingent of protesters that are still hanging around, maybe in 100 or 200 of them. The police have surrounded them. I'd be surprised if we get into a kettling situation. I don't think this group is going to be kettled because they aren't really surrounded. But I think that they are going to be directed in one direction. That's probably going to be towards the metro system so they can sort of disperse. We got people here saying, what's the protest about? So if you're just joining us and you're not from here, it's an anti-austerity protest. A lot of students are on strike and they're speaking out against budget and austerity measures being taken by the current liberal government in Quebec. So that's that in a nutshell. Matt thirsty and we're talking about dumb shit. Yeah, don't worry about it. I'm happy to talk about anything. Kettle was the most overused word of 2012, possibly, but it was a tactic that was employed quite a bit. So it was a word worth using in a lot of cases. A little dehydrated, but it's okay. Yeah, we do have some of the protesters that are remaining are shouting at the police. So far, no directive from the police to disperse. Nobody's making any violent moves, so it's kind of a standstill right now. I'll try to move around and give you a different perspective of where we are with the remaining protesters. Yeah, so it is quite a small group here. We don't really have anybody left in the park in Place Émilie Gamelin. I'd say we have no more than 100 people, maybe a little bit more. Yeah, we've got police not making a blockade. They're just holding their ground and blocking off access back onto Barry and de Maisonneuve. Please have a beer on us at the end of this. Well, I'll very, very likely have a beer. I don't know if it'll be on you, though. It's, I don't know how I can make that happen. Yeah, if somebody's out here and they want to like bring me a drink with a cap that hasn't been opened, because you know, mommy told me to be safe and she taught me well. But yeah, if you want to bring me something, go ahead. That'd be really, really considerate. But I'm okay for now. Don't worry. Matt needs a beer GoFundMe. I'm not there yet. Are there other smaller groups? Possibly, but this seems to be where the remainder of the protesters has gathered. They're just sort of hanging around here on the corner of Barry and de Maisonneuve in the park. I'd be surprised if there were any active groups right now somewhere else. We have our chants right now: police everywhere, justice nowhere. 4-4 Canadians. Subban scored a goal, apparently. Good for us. Okay. We do have police in riot gear telling media to get on the sidewalk to get off the street, so I will listen to that directive. We do have people getting pushed and shoved. And we do have a disagreement here between the riot police and somebody who was shoved a little bit. How many policemen can I see? Policemen and women. I'd say maybe 30 or 40 at this point. Probably a little bit more than that, actually. Because they are dispatched on the different parts of the intersection. They do have to sort of create a perimeter, so that takes a lot of boots on the ground. So just waiting to see what happens right now as people stand their ground. Again, the march hasn't been declared illegal. The P6 bylaw in Montreal hasn't been invoked. So we're just waiting to see what the next move for the police is. There are some moments like this in these protests where most likely the police are trying to figure out what the next move is and what directive they're going to give protesters, and I assume that that's what we're seeing here. I do see a police van moving, possibly going to make an announcement very shortly. Ustreamer 4495, I'm out. Take care. You as well. Yeah, we seem to have a bot in here, 54731. Keeps calling for Molotovs. Not gonna happen. Please keep telling people to get on the sidewalk. Waiting for the announcement. It should be coming shortly, I think. Ustreamer 38081 seems to be surprised that it isn't illegal. Asked a bike cop about 15 minutes ago. No, there hasn't been any. I haven't heard any announcements asking people to disperse yet. Would these be the same police officers as this afternoon? Very likely. I'm sure there's a lot of them. There is a lot of overtime pay, and that is an issue at the municipal level where there's a lot of money being thrown at police presence at these protests. We got a question here from Middleman 514. Is your objectivity getting you bad comments from the extremists? No, I haven't had any negative feedback about my approach to covering these things. Again, I've been very clear that I'm not here as an activist. I'm really here to cover this. But no, nobody's given me any grief about my style of reporting. Good question, though. Okay, we do have the police mobilizing a little bit. I'm going to move back a little bit. We've got police saying to move some. They seem to be Yeah, I think the directive that's come in is that they're trying to direct people towards the entrance of the metro, which is that way. Good question. What is an extremist? Yeah. I guess in this situation it would be somebody who cares a lot about the cause.
Kind of relaxed though here, like.
Yeah.
Cheers, man.
Right on. Yeah, we're streaming live from the Link newspaper.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, we have
actually, so we are in a fucking square and we can't get out of here. This is fucking annoying.
Yeah.
So and some dude told me they're going to like get us off the street because it's illegal, and then get us in the park, and then take us off the park because being in a park is illegal because it's like loitering or whatever the fuck. So yeah, I'm going home. Whatever.
All right, man. Have a good evening.
To the next then. Thanks.
All right.
Good luck.
So many police. Yeah, that is something you notice, and they're sort of creating a barricade here. They're just sort of channeling people to go towards St. Catherine into the metro system. Unless somebody makes a move really on the protester side, I don't think that they're going to get physical. I don't think they're going to use tear gas or flash grenades. They haven't really all day in any significant way, and I'd be surprised if they did now. What was that guy saying? All kinds of stuff. Does it look like they're moving people so they can better prepare? Yeah, 6235. You could just break that question up a little bit, just in two parts so I can read it more clearly, please. We've got calls. We've got calls for people to try and get through this barricade from a couple of people. All right, give it a try, I guess. They're sort of forming a human barricade right now in front of the police presence. Try to give you a better view without getting too close here, but yeah, that's what we have here. Still waiting for an announcement, though. We haven't heard any official word from the police about what direction they want the protesters to go in, except off the street. Question again, why are they doing this? Yeah, I'll mention again briefly, it's an anti-austerity protest. Students are on strike. It's about financial matters in Quebec against the Liberal government's slashing social programs and so forth. So, yeah, that's it in a nutshell. So they can better prepare for tear gas? No, I don't think so. We've seen this tactic employed in situations where the police don't employ tear gas or flash grenades. They're really just creating a barricade so that people can't disperse back into the street. And I get the sense that they're trying to funnel people into the metro system. But no, I don't get the sense that why are people lining up facing police? Not sure. I mean, they're making a stand. Yeah, they're just trying to make a statement. Middleman 514, human barricade versus riot gear. Not sure not sure what the Vegas odds on that one would be. Okay, so we do have police moving in a little bit. So we're just going to move back a little bit because we do have the police getting closer to the sidewalk. Do you have to wear a journalist tag? You don't have to use Streamer 66731. You don't have to, but I do. That's my press badge. It's not like I've said earlier today, it's not a get out of jail free card, but it might help smooth things over if you are caught in a kettle. The police will normally send a media relations person to try and sort stuff out. So yeah, that's my answer to that. I've not read the comic DMZ. Thanks for asking, though. We still have some people screaming at the police. Obviously not happy about this particular police presence, but so far we're still just waiting to see what happens. The police have moved in a little bit closer to the park. They've a lot of them have their boots on the curb. We try to get in a little bit closer and give you a better sense of what this line of protesters is up to. Yeah, Ustreamer 7635. That's a good idea. They should have a meal together. Break some bread. I can get behind that idea. That would help a lot. Can you translate? We got some people asking me to translate what's being said in French. If there's anything that I hear significantly, I certainly will. But as of right now, I mean, what you hear from the protesters, they're basically saying like, "Hey, you guys are being screwed too with some of these budget cuts. Why are you doing this to us? Why is your response in this manner? You know, you should be marching with us." That's the sentiment here.
Quoi de mieux pour éteindre un feu pour un pompier que de job de quoi de mieux
Memes 15.1. Why do they have the right to tell them where they can be or not? That's a good question, but the reality is that the police do have the ability to tell people to disperse. It is within, you know, their purview as police officers to do so. Whether or not that's right or not, you know, that's a question for another day. Londo 572, take care. Thanks for the broadcast. My pleasure. Have a good one, man. Don't break bread with cops. Oh, come on. No, but that, like, it's a little bit of a joke, but I do understand the sentiment behind that, because, like, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Everybody who is here right now is a human being, protester, journalist, and police officer alike. And, you know, it's something that I've noticed, and I mentioned it before, that sometimes you do have police officers smiling a little bit when they hear a particular chant from the protesters, or sort of nodding their heads a little bit and responding to protesters when they make a particular statement in front of them. You know, these are all just people, and a little bit of understanding goes a long way. No, they haven't said to disperse. They've said to they will not let people back on the street, but there's been no official statement over loudspeaker. Yeah, lots of people have kids too. Fair enough. Follow-up question there, 65731. If I don't wear it, they won't find you. If I do wear it, well, I have heard of journalists from smaller publications, newspapers and so forth, getting fined for not following police directions to disperse. That hasn't happened to me. And like I said, the police did catch some of our editors in a kettle on Friday, but they were released without incident. No tickets were issued, so yeah. Will they let people leave if they want to? Yeah, they will. Again, there isn't a blockade on this side. The guy that was speaking to the camera earlier said, you know, they're not letting me go anywhere. Like, yeah, well, that's not entirely true. They are. You can go that way. So yes, people are allowed to go. Yeah, so the police is moving in just a little bit more. This is in keeping with the tactics that we've seen recently. They just move in slowly to try and direct the crowd in a certain direction, not too violent. But we do have a group here tonight that is very resistant to the police advancing, and that does seem to be provoking maybe a little bit more of a police response. But so far, nothing serious. Yeah, sorry, I was misspeaking about the police declaring the protest illegal. They did. The P6 bylaw was invoked. What I meant to say was that at this particular moment, they're not asking people to disperse. They're not saying that they don't have a right to be here. They're just sort of standing back. So yeah, thanks for the clarification. Fair enough. How many people are here now? I'd say about 100. Let me try to move up here and give you a better view. That's basically it. Yeah, we've got a small cadre of people, maybe about 100 or 150. Nothing substantial. Keep pushing people until they push back. Yeah, I mean that's a possibility, but I haven't seen anything like that in the last couple of days. But that's certainly something that does happen. I'm gonna hang around a little bit longer just to see if there's any move on either side. But my gut tells me that this is going to just end with maybe a couple of people being taken in for not moving when the police move in. But on the whole, I don't think we're going to see a big response. Ustreamer 21901, stream is informative. Thanks. Yep, great. Happy that you think so. Happy to provide information. Okay, we do have a police officer saying to move towards the metro. Yeah, so very, very directly we're saying, people here saying going to the metro. Yeah, I hope that I get that root beer soon too. Yeah, see, this is what I'm talking about. Like, we do have a police officer here talking with protesters. So yeah, I'm gonna move along with the crowd right now towards the metro. That's the directive of the police, so we're going in that direction. But yeah, we did have that police officer in riot gear engaging with the protester, chatting, smiling a little bit. So yeah, that kind of stuff does happen. Cool Breeze 33. I wish I could get that vanilla Coke too, but they don't sell it here anymore, unfortunately. So yeah, we just keep having the police moving slowly, directing people towards the metro entrance. That's the tactic we've seen quite often recently. Not surprised it's being employed this evening. So I will make my way towards the metro entrance to see if people stick with that directive. There's still some snow. It still is Montreal, but a lot of it is melting. Nope, not going that way. I'm alright, I'm alright. INF AMC1 did awesome work. Keep it up, man. Hey. Somebody slipped here a little bit, some slippery marble. You alright? T'es correct? Yeah, so this seems to be coming to a close. I will stick with it right until the end, until most of the people have been funneled into the metro system. Like was being said, and I predicted earlier, yeah, no violent confrontations, people just slowly shuffling towards the metro. Let me make my way over there now. There'll probably be a little bit of a police presence. I'll have a look at that. Somebody's saying there's going to be more snow this weekend. Yeah, I heard that too. God damn it. I didn't fall. Middleman 514. I didn't actually fall. I caught myself. Give me some credit. So this is the main street here, the main artery downtown Montreal, St. Catherine. And people are being funneled into the metro. So that seems to be the end of it. We'll see if the police come back all the way here to try and disperse people. Is there a protest tomorrow night? Probably. Yes. That's always a fair answer. Hey, John Cook, how's it going?
Good.
How are you, sir?
I'm fine.
Why don't you tell people your name?
I'm Graham.
What do you do at the link?
I was the copy editor up until recently. I think I'm still acting though. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Internal politics, love it.
No, it's all good.
Yeah. Yeah, like I was telling our viewers, this is the tactic that we've seen employed many times over the last couple of days. Coming back to this originating point of the protest on St. Catherine and Barrie, and then people being slowly funneled in by a police movement.
Yeah, they're good. They're really good. They know what they're doing.
Somebody's saying there's probably going to be a protest against gluten somewhere in town. Yeah, probably. In many living room and kitchen. All right. Yeah, there was some Pegida, anti-Pegida business in Montreal over the weekend. The anti-Pegida wore out in more force than the pro. So don't know how that's going to evolve in Montreal specifically. But yeah. So here's what we have right now. We've got a few people milling about. We've got police just holding the line, trying to block access off to the park. I think that's all she wrote, guys. Ustreamer7635, thanks for great coverage. So yeah, I'm going to call it a night. Thanks very much for watching. It's fantastic to have you guys interacting and asking in the chat. I'm happy to provide that context for you. I will be out again. Thanks very much for watching. Have a great night.